and welcome to Knit Bits. I'm Lois with Aussie Lossy Knit Designs, and we are in our series about cast-on methods. Our goal for today is to answer the question, what purpose does cast-on serve? And before we get into that, real quick, if you enjoy Knit Bits, would you be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe to my channel? That way, you can be sure that you never miss an episode of Knit Bits and that you get access to all my latest content. All right, on to the issue at hand. What purpose does the cast-on serve in knitting? Well, in the most basic sense, it's just to get yarn on our knitting needles so that we can make fabric. That sounds so simple, and to be honest, it really is that simple. We need to get yarn on our knitting needles so that we can knit, and that's the purpose of the cast-on. Let's be real for a minute. So many times in knitting patterns, a cast-on method isn't even called for, right? What I see the most of is sometimes I see provisional cast-on method called for. More often than that, I'll see like a descriptive word of the type of cast-on I could choose from, like stretchy. And then most of the time, most of the time, there's no cast-on method given to me at all. It just says cast on such and such number of stitches. And so the good news is, for those of us who have been knitting for a while, this is an excellent opportunity for us to bring our own flair into the pattern right at the cast on, right? And I personally am a huge fan of like the 2-color braided cast on method because it's so pretty. And if I'm working with colors, I get to introduce that color right away, which is fun for me. I also really like to use the cable cast on if I'm doing like a rib pattern. So it looks like my ribs are just coming out of nothing. They just started and it was awesome. But I also think you can't beat the elegance of a long tail cast on, like that pretty braided look. Anyway, I get to choose, right? And that's so awesome. For beginners though, I think this can be a bit of a road bump, right? Like, oh, well, I don't know what to do, right? They didn't tell me what to do. It's okay. What I like to tell beginners is to learn one cast on method. Learn one cast on method, practice it, use it, and use it whenever you're knitting from a pattern, okay? When you get really comfortable with your knitting and you're ready, then you can try on new cast-on methods. Most of the patterns are not going to tell you a specific cast-on method anyway, so you can use the one that you've learned. And even if it does tell you, you can substitute that out, with one exception. You cannot substitute out a provisional cast-on. I'm sorry, but you can't. That's usually for the structure of whatever it is that you're knitting, and you're not going to want to have a different cast on other than provisional. Trust me on this. Anyway, do you have a favorite cast on method? If you do, I'd love to know what that is. You can share it with me in the comments. Send me an email, lois@AussieLossyKnitDesigns.com. If you're on Instagram, and snap a picture of it, tag me so I can see it. I love trying new skills and techniques, and so if you have a favorite that I maybe haven't tried before, I'd love to know what that is, okay? So again, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Next time, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into cast-on methods, and we're actually going to talk about categories, such as stretchy, and spoiler alert, there are more categories than just stretchy, so we're going to get into that kind of content next time. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day. I should say, happy knitting. Happy knitting.